So welcome to your morning hips practice. Let's start today laying on your back in supine butterfly. So bring soles of your feet together, knees can splay out to the side. Hands can land over top of your body, down beside you, overhead. If that feels like a little bit too much invitation to depth in your hips this morning, you can always grab blocks or pillows and just place them underneath your knees or your thighs. Become aware of your breath without trying to fix it or change it. Just start to notice the gentle rhythm and waves of your inhales and your exhales. Notice how smoothly your body performs this breath. That there's no forceful nature to it. And just gently weaving between expansion and contraction. Between filling up and emptying out. Between the effort and the ease. When we're living in sync with our bodies, with life, this is the way that the universe flows. That nature has its own steady rhythm that can't be manipulated by anyone. We can't change the rage of a thunderstorm. And we can't change the long periods of drought. We can't change the snow that has fallen. And so perhaps instead of trying to be forceful, trying to manipulate, today we just learn to move with this rhythm that nature has created and this rhythm that nature lives by. As simple as breath in and breath out. Gently bring your hands to the outer edges of your knees or your thighs and help to bring your knees up through center. Hug your knees into your chest. Hands wrap around tops of your shins or backs of your hamstrings. As you rock side to side, iron out any stickiness or wrinkles in the low back. And then when you come back through center, pause, keep your right knee bent in towards your body. Slowly extend your left heel out. Allow the back of your heel to draw down to the ground. Find movement into your right hip. So as you inhale, start to draw your right knee towards the side of your rib cage using your hands. And as you exhale, bring your right knee across your chest over towards your left shoulder. And inhale to open externally towards the side of your rib cage. And then exhale, right hip might lift slightly as it just crosses the body. Just take this a couple more times. You're welcome to just stay rocking side to side. If you want to add in more of a circular movement, you can always take your knee in and away as it also moves left to right. Allow this to be nice and slow, following the rhythms of your breath. So you'll notice how half of this movement lands with the inhale and the other half with the exhale. You might even start to feel some heat of compression into that right hip. The next time that you go to cross your body, release the grip of your right hand. Allow your left hand to slide towards the outer edge of your thigh, and then come into a full twist. Option to straighten out your right leg. Take this deeper into the sides of your rib cage. Take this deeper into the outer edge of your hip. Just make sure that both shoulder blades are rooted down. Can you still feel the gentle rhythm of the rise and fall of your inhales and your exhales? Gently draw your knee back through center. This time take your right foot into your right hand. So that can be inside edge of your foot or outside edge. Bend your right knee down beside your rib cage. And then take your left hand onto your hip flexor, or actually onto your hip bone. And just roll that left hip towards the ground. Tends to want to lift up here. Now you're welcome to stay with a bent knee, or you can always play with extending your right leg straight, but half happy baby pose. Notice the different sensation between the two sides of your body. Slide your left heel up, bending into your left knee, plant your foot, and then use your hands to guide your right ankle to cross your left thigh. Pause here for a moment, flex into your right foot so your toes are turning up towards your shin, and then either draw your right knee away from your body, you can gently press into the inside of your right thigh. You're welcome to stay here, or you can start to float your knees into your chest, hands interlaced behind the back of your hamstring or on top of your shin. And then just gently rock side to side. As long as there's no pulling in your knees, you should feel sensations shift throughout that right hip. Maybe feeling a little bit more sensation to the outer edge as you roll more towards the left. And then next time that you roll through center, just pause, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, release your grip, let your left foot float towards the earth. Release your right foot down. Bring your left knee into your chest and extend your right heel long. Inhale breath, take your left knee towards the side of your rib cage. And exhale to draw your left knee just over towards the right. So not a full twist, but just moving your left knee side to side. Always optional to start to circumduct this joint, creating circles into that left hip. But if the side to side movement is feeling really nourishing, then you're welcome to just stay there as well. The next time that you rock back through center, release the grip of your left hand. Right hand guides your leg across your body. Gaze might follow the opposite direction. And as you take a moment to pause, just becoming aware that your rhythm still lies beneath the surface of this practice and this movement. Maybe just tapping back into that smooth movement of your breath. Unwind back through center, left hand to your left ankle or foot, half happy baby. Right hand plants on top of your right hip bone to root that hip down. And then you're welcome to just pause with your left knee bent, heel to the sky. You can always draw your heel in or take your heel out. Notice any stickiness, maybe any resistance in your body this morning. And making an intention to not come at your body with force or with this idea we need to fix, but really just this idea that we need to connect back into that simple rhythm and that ease of nature. If your leg is extended out, just bend back into your left knee. Slide your right heel up until it plants on your mat, and then cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Figure 4, you're welcome to pause here and just press your left hand into your inner thigh or use your muscles to actively draw your knee away from your body. If that feels okay, you can stay, or if you want a little bit deeper, hug your knees towards your chest, hands interlacing. And then gently, you can just play with rocking side to side. It doesn't have to be big movement, just really gentle to start to feel how the subtleties of this practice can completely change what you experience, can completely change these sensations. The next time that you rock back through center, gently release the sole of your right foot down and then take your left down. Extend your legs long. Take a big giant stretch of the body. Full breath in. And exhale to soften. Let's take one more breath just like that. Inhale to expand and reach. And exhale to let that go. Okay, we're gonna do something a little bit different today. Roll yourself over towards your right hand side. Okay. Beautiful. And then slowly just start to press your upper body up so that you're facing the side of the room, but then lower onto your right forearm. Okay. Extend your right leg long and then cross your left foot so that your left toes point to the side of your mat. And it can be further down or it can be close up to your hip, whatever is comfortable. Flex into your right foot. And then as you inhale, start to rise your extended leg away from the earth. Feel like you're squeezing inner thighs together. And then as you exhale, gently release that down. You can always lay down on your side and hold your head if that feels better for your side body. But just use the rhythm of your breath to start to move through that extension of the right leg. So inhale, lift up using adduction, and exhale to lower. Let's just take about 4 more. So inhale, rise, squeeze at the top, and exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, let that go. 2 more. Feel the rise, the effort of your breath as you inhale. And then allow yourself to release on the exhale. Your last one. Hold at the top. Pulse here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently release that foot back down. Start to pick up your left knee. Grab a hold of your left shin. And then as you draw your left knee back behind you, slide your hand towards your ankle. You can be up here or down, whatever is most comfortable. It really doesn't matter. And then squeeze your glute as you send your left knee back into a quadricep stretch. You can always bend that right knee if you feel like you're rolling backwards. This will give you a little bit more stability. Take one more full breath in. And then as you exhale, gently release your left knee into your chest and give yourself a hug. Roll yourself onto your back and then all the way over towards your left side. Optional to stay onto your side, head cradling your arm, or up onto your forearm. Okay, right foot plants, left leg extended. Make sure you flex into that left foot. And then when you inhale, just start to rise your left foot away from the ground. Feel like you're squeezing your left thigh towards your right, and then exhale to lower. Just continue with your breath, starting to warm up the inner thighs, really feeling into stability of the body with something so simple. Can you close down your eyes and just start to allow your body to become a part of this experience of your breath? So rather than the two acting separate, that you start to feel your breath and this movement weaving together. Let's take 3 more. Last one. When your left foot comes down, start to float your right foot off your mat. You can always bend that left knee. Hug your right knee into your body, and then slowly as you guide your right knee back, right hand slides towards the ankle or top of the foot. Squeeze into your glute, so you're sending your right hip out in front of you, maybe even opening up through that right shoulder. Take one more full breath in. See if you can send your hips just a little bit further forward. And then exhale, take your knee in towards your body. Give it a big hug. Roll yourself onto your back one more time. Take both knees in towards your chest. And then start to rock and roll up and down the length of your spine until you meet to tabletop. So no rush to land here, just taking your time. Spread your fingertips wide once you land in tabletop. I'm going to move through the spine a little bit differently. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, send your hips back towards your heels into a child's pose. Inhale to cobra. Keep your hands rooted as they are. Ripple through the spine forward. Lower your hips down and then open through your chest. Exhale, ripple through the spine back, hips towards heels, curl and round through your spine. And then inhale, breath, ripple forward. Drop your hips, open through your chest. And just continue to move forward and back. Knowing you don't have to come into fully straight arms, you can always bend the elbows if you need a little bit less extension of the spine. You can always pause in either of these variations if it feels like you just need an extra breath to hold there. But really allow your breath to become almost the ruler of this practice. That breath tells you when you move forward and back, and allow your head a moment to just step back and let your body take the lead. You can take one more round of breath and movement, and then when you come to sit back to child's pose, walk your knees wide, take your big toes together to touch. Forehead or cheek to your mat, whatever is most comfortable. Can you feel, even here in stillness, how the rib cage expands out to the left and right, and then back through center? But there's always this really, really steady place for you to land in the practice. And really important as we work through some of the stability work for the hips to make sure that we're breathing and then we're not just holding our breath and hoping to get through to the end. On your next inhale breath, rise back up to tabletop. Walk your knees underneath your hips. Now, if you have a really hard floor, you can always take a pillow underneath your left knee. Okay. Know that that's always an option. If wrists start to get sore, you can also always lower onto forearms. Okay. Start to lift your right knee out to the side. And then notice if your left hip starts to send out to the side as well. Try to keep your left hip over top of your knee. Hold for an inhale. And then exhale, lower your right knee to hover beside your left. Inhale, breath, lift your right knee up, squeeze your glute. Exhale, lower to hover. Let's take 3 more. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, let that go. Notice how much effort the inhale has and how the exhale just eases you down. 1 more inhale breath to lift out to the side. Beautiful. Exhale to lower to hover. Extend your right heel back behind you so it's straight. Then bend into your right knee. On an inhale breath, rise your right heel even just a couple centimeters higher. Exhale, lower your right knee to hover beside your left. Inhale, kick your right heel up to the sky. Keep your knee bent. Exhale to lower down. Take 3 more just like that. Inhale, lift. Exhale to lower. Last 2. Slow it down to meet your breath. Last 1. This time when your knee picks up, cross your right knee over top of your left shin. Release the top of your right foot down, and then just slide your right toes towards the back left corner of your mat. You can come down onto forearms here to release some of that tension into your wrists. You're always welcome to tuck your right toes and float your right knee up and just play with sending yourself forward and back if you're craving that rocking sensation. Should feel a deep sensation into your left hip. Soften through the back of your head and neck. Let your head hang heavy. And then gently walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. Slide your right toes back in line with your right hip and tuck your toes under. Turn and pivot to the right side of your mat, modified plank. Your right shoulder lands over top of your wrist. Squeeze into your right glutes and float your right heel off of your mat. You're welcome to pause here, or you can hug your knee towards your chest, hand wraps to the top of your shin, and you can play with a bind. Start to drive your right knee back behind you. Press through all 5 of your left fingertips so that you're taking some of that weight out of the wrist, almost like you're lifting away from the earth with your left hand. And then gently release the grip of your bind, float your right foot to the ground, turn and pivot to the top of your mat. Keep your right toes tucked, 3-legged dog. Press into your hand and your right foot, float your left heel to the sky. Bend into your left knee, stack your left hip over top of your right. Circle your left hip, drop your left knee down towards your right. Hug your left knee into your chest. Take your left knee up to the side and up. Take 2 more circles in that direction. I'm starting to work through maybe some of the stickiness of stability from that last pose. And then the next time that your knee comes up through center, pause. As you exhale, gently step your left foot through. Lower your back knee down. Inhale, breath, rise your hands tall, monkey lunge. Press through your front foot instead of sinking into your right hip. As you press into your front foot, shift some weight back. Feel like you're drawing your hip bones up towards your bottom 2 ribs. Gaze might even slightly lift. And then as you exhale, take your hands down, send your hips back, half splits. Left toes pull up, hips pull back. Let's move through that 3 more times. So inhale, breath. Start to guide your hands up, open through the chest. Exhale, send your hands down, half splits and fold. 2 more breaths just like that. Really finding your own rhythm within this practice. Moving really slow so you can start to feel all of the muscular engagement. And then the next time that you move forward, plant your hands, send your left knee back beside your right, extend your left heel out long. Gently release your left knee in. Shift your hips side to side. Other side, spread your fingertips wide to help with any pressure in the wrists. Maybe you move that pillow underneath your right knee if you need. Inhale, breath, extend your left knee out to the side. Keep your right hip over top of your right knee. As you exhale, lower your left knee to a hover. Press through the top of your right shin for stability. Inhale, lift out to the side. Exhale, lower. Okay, 3 more. Pull your belly button up and towards your spine. Starting to feel some of that heat of your practice building. A little bit different today with that added kind of addition of Pilates and functional range of movement. The next time you come back through center, extend your left heel back behind you and then pick your left heel up towards the sky, bend into your knee. Inhale, breath, fill up. Exhale, take your left knee to hover beside your right. Inhale, kick your left heel to the sky, squeeze your glute. Exhale to lower. 3 more breaths just like that. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower. Feel some of that heat into your right hip. Last 2. And last 1. Extend your left toes back behind you. Lower your left toes to the earth. Pivot open towards the side of your mat. Right shoulder stacks over your right wrist. Squeeze your left glutes to lift your heel up. Now you can stay here or start to work into the bind, bending into your left knee. You can always hug your knee into your chest to grab a hold of the foot and then start to glide your knee back. Squeeze your glutes to send either your hips forward or to just lift this left heel a little bit higher. Take 1 more solid, smooth breath in. And then as you exhale, gently release the grip of your bind, left foot to the earth, turn and pivot to the top of your mat. 3-legged dog, left toes stay tucked. Inhale, right heel high to the sky. Bend into your right knee, stack into your hip. Take 3 full circles, right knee draws beside your left. Inhale to your chest and exhale, open up. Inhale, hug your knee in towards your chest. And exhale, up and back. 1 more circle. And then the next time that your knee comes up through center, step through your hands to the top of your mat. Lower your back knee down. Inhale, rise your hands high and just pause here for a moment. Feel your inner thighs engaged, squeezing towards one another. That strength we found earlier in the inner thighs, now starting to activate that here. Take 1 more inhale, maybe even rise the chest. And then as you exhale, half splits, take your hands down, send your hips back and fold. Move at your own pace. Inhales pull you forward into this opening of the front line. And exhales soften you backwards into a fold. Notice how it becomes easier and smoother the more that you start to find this rhythm. So even if the first couple rounds were a little bit disjointed, that each time you come back into this, it's like you're finding your groove or finding your rhythm. The next time that you go to move to your monkey lunge, just walk your hands towards the top of your mat, tuck your back toes to lift your knee, and then step your left toes forward, forward fold. Inhale, breath to halfway lift and lengthen, and exhale to fold. Bend into your knees, inhale, breath, sweep your arms all the way up, take a nice big full body stretch, and then exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, breath, reach your arms up. As you exhale, pour over to the right. Slide your right hand down your side body. Take your left fingertips over, big lengthening through the lateral line. Inhale, breath, lift back up through center. Exhale, the other side. Hold for a breath. And then use your next inhale, draw all the way up through center, big stretch. Exhale, forward fold, let that go. Inhale, breath, 2 halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold, heel to your feet at least hip width distance. Still facing the top of your mat, turn your toes out to the side and then sink your hips down. Yogi squat. If this isn't available right away, you can sit onto blocks or you can always have forearms onto your thighs. Walk your right fingertips out. As you inhale, take your left fingertips up, add in a twist, and then exhale, come back through center. Inhale, right hand to the sky, left fingertips root down, and exhale back through center. One more to each side. Really use that inhale to expand open across the chest, and exhale resets you to your core. And then inhale, reach, get curious, get open, and exhale, release down. Keep your right toes pointed as they are. Root into your hands and step back to an active lizard. Hips lift up, left toes step back. You can walk your hands in line with your right foot and then really work into the activation of your hips. So instead of lowering that left hip towards the ground, try to keep your hips in line with your right knee. Even playing with taking some of that weight out of your hands, maybe even just resting up onto fingertips. Lift high onto the ball of your left foot. Can you feel that work, that heat that's happening within your right hip? Okay. And then start to move through wide-legged forward fold all the way towards the back of your mat and find lizard on the other side, but an active variation. So hips stay lifted. Left knee stacks over top of your ankle and left toes are slightly turned out. Feel like you're pushing into the earth with your feet to lift your hips a little bit higher. All right, walk through wide-legged forward fold towards the top of your mat again into a lizard. This time, lower the back knee, add in a twist. Right hand to your right inner thigh. You can roll to the pinky side edge of that foot if you'd like. Maybe roll the right shoulder open. Gently release your right hand down. Walk through wide-legged forward fold all the way to the back of your mat. Find your lizard with the back knee dropped and adding in a twist. Back toes can be tucked or untucked, whatever feels best for your knee. Take a couple of breaths just to ease into this shape. And at the bottom of your next exhale, walk all the way back through wide-legged forward fold. Lizard one more time towards the top of your mat. This time, left hand either onto the ground, or you can always set your left hand onto a block for more height. Take your right hand up to the sky, palm faces out. Reach your right hand back behind you and start to float your left toes off of the earth. You can always grab a pillow underneath that left knee if it feels like it's pretty tough for the kneecap. Make sure that your hips aren't over top of your knee because that's a lot of pressure onto the knee itself. So drop your left hip forward. If you can bind, you're welcome to bind. Just gently holding your foot in your right hand. And then gently release the grip of your foot, hands come down towards the earth. Turn and pivot to the back of your mat, same pose on the other side. Lower your right knee down. Inhale to bring your left hand up. Exhale, bring your left hand back. And then just start to play with floating your right toes off your mat. Even if you don't bind, that's okay. You're still gonna be getting that opening into the quadricep. Still gonna be getting that opening into the front of your hip flexors, quads. And gently release the grip that you have of your foot. Take your left hand down. Turn and pivot to the side of your mat, wide-legged forward fold. Okay. Just shift side to side. You can even draw, planting your hands, little figure eights with your hips to release sacrum and lower back. You can bend into one knee at a time if that feels good for the inner thighs. Or you're welcome to just fold and take a couple of recovery breaths. Gently walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. Turn and pivot your right toes towards the top of your mat and walk your hands to frame your right foot. Okay, just gonna be here for a moment. Shift your weight into your right foot. You can even walk your hands about a foot forward. Bend into your right knee and just pick up your left heel. Feel like you're stacking your left hip over top of your right. Keep both hands rooted. Take a full breath in. As you exhale, bend into your standing leg. Lower your left heel down and turn and pivot through a wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, breath to halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Turn and pivot your left toes to the back of your mat. Half moon variation. Walk your hands about 1 foot forward. Inhale, pick up your right heel. Squeeze your right glute. And then exhale, bend into your left knee, lower your right heel to the ground, and then turn and pivot to the side of your mat. Let's do it 2 more times to each side. So just take a halfway lift to reset for a moment. Exhale, fold. Turn to the top of your mat. Inhale, half moon. Use your hands to root down. Pick your left heel up, squeeze your glute. Exhale, bend into your knee, walk through center. Inhale, breath, halfway lift in your wide-legged forward fold. And exhale, let that go. Turn towards the back of your mat. Inhale, pick up your right heel, half moon variation. Exhale, lower down and turn and pivot to the side. Inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Pull your belly button to your spine. Exhale, fold. 1 more to each side. So use your inhale breath to pick up your heel. You're welcome to stay for an extra breath if you'd like. And then use your exhale. Make sure you bend into your knee to support the low back as you bring your foot down. Take that halfway lift when you come through center. And then turn and pivot to the back of your mat. Meet into your wide-legged forward fold when you've completed both sides. Pick up your heels. Turn your heels in, turn your toes out. Bend into your knees and then take your hands onto your thighs. Press into your hands and lift up to a variation of goddess squat. So you want to make sure knees land over top of ankles. If feet are too wide, knees are going to fall in. So really press through the pinky side edge of your feet and just make sure when you look down, knees approximately stack over your ankles. Okay, inhale, breath, lean forward. As you exhale, roll your right shoulder towards the ground, press into your right inner thigh and look over to the left. Inhale, breath, lift back up through center, and then exhale, other side. 2 more to each side. Use your inhales to give you that effort to lift. Exhales like you're sinking towards the earth. Inhale, squeeze your glutes, rise. Exhale, release. 1 more time to each side. And then the next time that you come back through center, inhale, press into your feet, rise your hands tall, take a big full body stretch. And then exhale, release your hands out to the left and to the right. Turn your left toes to the side of your mat. Pick up your right heel and point your toes to face forward. Flip your right palm to face up. As you inhale, take your right hand skyward, Big side stretch through the right body. Gaze can come down. You're welcome to bring your right hand to the back of your skull and just tip your gaze up. Feel like you're pressing into your right foot and just lengthening all the way up to your elbow or fingertips. And then inhale, breath, lift back up through center. Start to hinge forward, triangle. Kick your hips back. Reach your right hand down to the inside of your front leg. Left hand stays up. Now you can always grab your block for this pose if you want. Coming back into half moon, but this time holding. Start to bend into your front leg. Walk your right fingers towards the top right corner of your mat, and then pick up your left heel. Okay. Now, if you want to play with the bind, we've been in this in different forms throughout class. So you can always hug your knee into your chest, grab a hold of your shin, and then start to draw your knee back. Or just simply bend your heel in towards your glute. Left hand grabs a hold of your foot. Roll your left shoulder open. Make sure that you're activating through the glutes. That's actually going to make this pose easier, even though it's more effort for the muscles. It will stack your bones properly so you don't have to do as much work. Beautiful. If you do have a hold of the bind, gently release. Bend into your standing leg, warrior two. Float your left foot to the ground. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, soften. Straighten out your front leg, flip your front palm. Inhale, take a big side stretch. And then exhale, bring your upper body back through center. Pick up your front toes, point right toes to the side of your mat, and then pick your left toes up and point them to the back. Flip your left palm to face up. Inhale, reverse. Just take your left hand up. Feet are a little bit shorter than warrior two, if that makes it easier for this transition. So you can always, when you come back through center, heel toe your back foot closer in. Maybe you bend into your left elbow, tip your gaze up, hands cradle the back of your head. And then on an inhale breath, rise tall, triangle, kick your hips back, reach to your left fingertips. Left hand down to the inside of your front thigh or shin, right hand reaches up. Okay. Look down towards the top left corner of your mat. Bend into your left knee. Start to walk your fingertips over to that corner and then pick up your back heel. Okay. Squeeze your glute, stacking right hip over top of left. You're welcome to pause here. You can bend into your knee and catch the top of your foot. If you're working into the bind that's not available, no, you can always draw your knee forward and grab a hold of the shin there and then start to slide your knee back. Okay, so lots of different options. Open up through your right shoulder, like you're stacking your right shoulder over top of your left. Remember to breathe and let that slow, steady rhythm of your practice still become the undercurrent of this moment. Gently release any bind that you have. Warrior two, bend into your left knee. Inhale, breath to rise tall. Exhale, soften through the shoulders. Straighten out your front leg, flip your front palm. Left hand comes all the way up. And then exhale, gently come back through center. Turn and pivot your toes to the side of your mat. Interlace your hands behind your back. Roll your shoulders up and down. As you inhale, rise through the chest. As you exhale, slow hinge forward, soft bend into your knees. Hands can always float away from your low back. They can stay connected. Or if neither of those variations is serving you, just allow your hands to gently root towards the earth. Relax the muscles of the back of your head and neck. Turn and pivot your body towards the top of your mat. Press into your hands, tuck your left toes under. Inhale, breath, three-legged dog, send your right heel high, bend into your right knee. As you exhale, half pigeon, bring your right knee behind your right wrist. Right ankle to the left side of your mat. Untuck your back toes. Walk your hands up beside your hips so you can really start to feel whether or not you're falling to one side. If you are, just grab your block, scoop it underneath your right hip. And then when you're ready to fold, you can gently take belly, then heart, then head. As always, deer pose is an option. Shift onto your right hip, bend your back knee, and then just fold over top of your front thigh. If possible, find a place to rest your forehead so that the muscles of the back of your neck can soften, that your body doesn't have to hold you up here, that you're able to just melt down. Maybe even tapping more into your breath in this stillness. Each inhale giving you that slight lift away from the earth. And each exhale softening you, allowing your body to rest heavier. Walk your fingertips back up in towards your body. Downward facing dog, tuck your back toes, step your front foot to the back of your mat. Maybe you pedal out your feet. You can take any movement that your body is craving. And when you're ready, three-legged dog, left heel rises high, stack your hips, bend your left knee. And then when you exhale, left knee behind your left wrist and left ankle to the right side of your mat. There is absolutely no rush to come into this pose. We are here for a few extra breaths. So whenever you're ready, you can start to fold, just making sure you have equal weight into your hips if you're in pigeon, or all of your weight onto your left hip if you are in deer. Can you find the ease of this moment as you just fully step into the movement of your breath? It's really easy to feel like joy is hard to find. And especially when our world is chaotic, when our world feels heavy, busy, too much, that joy somehow disappears. And so I hope that in this moment you recognize that joyful feeling of just being at ease with your body, just following the rhythm of your breath, knowing that in those heavy or busy or overwhelming moments that there's still joy there, and all you have to do is just simply breathe. And remember that you are a connected human being on your own timeline, and it's okay to take the time you need to work through whatever it is that you're going through. Walk your fingertips back up and towards your hips. This time, roll yourself towards your left hip and scoop your right knee around and in front. Walk your feet wide, hands draw back. And just gently drop your knees over to the left and over to the right. One final pose on our seat. Come back up onto your sits bones. Take the soles of your feet together, knees wide. Now, instead of having this a really active pose with heels in, allow your heels to draw away from your body. Knees slightly spread out to the sides, and always an option to take blocks or pillows underneath your knees. Just start to drape yourself forward. Let your head hang heavy, chin towards your chest. Whatever has been holding you back from that joy, can you imagine it just rolling off your back? Allowing you more space to just connect into this world. Because that joy, that ease of your breath that perhaps you found at different moments today, it's really just connection. It's connecting to something deeper than what's that next project we have or what's that thing we have to do. It's connecting to this moment and the beauty that's right here. It's connecting to the beauty of nature, the rhythms, the cycles, the opportunities that are in this moment, and letting go of that need to look ahead and fix outcomes or to look back and fix mistakes. It's an opportunity to just be where you are, and that's joy. Take 3 more breaths. Maybe even allowing your exhales to be smoother, deeper, just simply by giving them the space, not needing to force. And then at the bottom of your next exhale, slowly roll through the spine all the way out. The head comes up last. Draw your knees together, heel toe your feet hip width distance, and then lower yourself all the way down onto your back. Walk your feet wide towards the edges of your mat. Drop your knees left and right a couple of times just to create some release into the hips, maybe even into the sacrum. But eventually land with both knees dropping towards center in a pyramid shape. So feet are rooted down, knees dropping to the center line of your body. So there's a slight internal rotation of your femur, your upper thigh bone, and your hip socket. Press your lower back towards the earth. And if that feels like too much for the insides of your knees, just take your feet a little closer. Hands can land over your belly, out to the side, whatever's comfortable. And just start to invite yourself into an even slower, even deeper aspect of your practice by just simply pausing your physical body. In busyness, we often operate from a very surface level orientation to the world. It's like asking a friend as you pass by them, how are you doing? And the answer is often, oh, good, and your response is good, and then you part ways because we're always racing towards something. But that depth is when we slow down and we truly take the time to listen, to hear, to appreciate, and to love. So whatever is coming up for you in this moment, you just observe that and hold a little space for that dialogue. Release your knees away from one another. Hug both knees into your chest one final time. You're welcome to just pause here. You could take a final happy baby or even play with plow pose, lifting your hips overhead and dropping your knees towards your shoulders or your forehead. Okay. So yogi's choice. If there is another pose that you feel like you need to close off your practice, you're welcome to find that as well. Allow the next few moments, next few breaths to just bring you in towards Shavasana. In order to sort out the chaos and the confusion, sometimes all it takes is just coming back to the simplest thing that we know. What is nourishing? Our bodies were created from the same building blocks as nature. And nourishment is falling back into that warm embrace of our natural rhythms. To find the time to breathe and feel, so that we have space to let go and pause, and then start all over again. Flowers don't race each other to bloom, and they don't compare their colors to one another of who's the brightest or of who perfectly matches the expectation of that flower. That nature just blooms in its own way, and it takes the winter to pause. It uses the fall to let go, the spring to bloom, and the summer really to become this fullest expression of self. And so know that you too have these same rhythms. And if you feel like you're in resistance or you're fighting against where you are, perhaps notice if you're trying to force your rhythm to be something different than what it naturally is. And then whatever you need or are called to in that moment, to just naturally step into maybe the rhythm of your breath, maybe the rhythm of that season or of your life. Allow the pieces to naturally and simply fall into place. And joy is just an undercurrent of that ease. I'll leave you here for a few moments to just pause, soak up whatever you need, and we'll close off together when I bring you out of this. If you do need longer in Shavasana, or you're feeling really rooted and not quite ready to come out of this close of your practice, just stay as you are and close off there. If you feel ready to move into the rest of your day, just gently start to wiggle into your fingertips and toes. You can always rock your head side to side a couple of times. Any movements that feel good, nourishing. And when you're ready, you roll to either side and press up to seated. Hands landing to heart center. Honor the pauses. Honor the shifts. Honor the new beginnings. And honor the activity. Simply honor wherever you are at and whatever you need in that moment. And trust that you are always supported when you are in this natural flow of life. From the bottom of my heart, so much love, so much gratitude. Have a beautiful weekend ahead. Namaste.